And don't expect those difficult economic conditions to get any better anytime soon. That was the message today from the boss of Sainsbury, Justin King. He told this programme he expects another year of falling incomes in 2013, and he told British consumers they needed to ask tough questions of companies like Starbucks and Amazon, who choose to pay little or no corporation tax in this country. Sainsbury claim it's a seasonal winner. The 7 days before Christmas were its strongest trading week ever. Britain's third biggest supermarket chain saw sales rise by 0.9%, though even here that growth rate is slowing. And as Sainsbury ploughs on, the rest of the high street looks shaky. Yesterday, the British Retail Consortium said Christmas sales were just 1.5% higher, whilst Morrison's reported a drop of 2.5% in business. So when do things get better? Official forecasts see our pay packets growing by 2.2% in 2013. The problem? Inflation projected at 2.5%, so real incomes are still falling. And with money tight, there's growing anger over corporate taxes. Starbucks, Amazon, Google, all attacked for paying little or no corporation tax. Big businesses rarely criticise each other. But today, Justin King encouraged consumers to put pressure on international companies to come clean on their tax affairs. When I spoke to Justin King earlier, I started with the state of the economy. In these tough times, I asked him what Sainsbury was offering that consumers wanted.
One of the big things that we saw was people buying more own label. And Sainsbury's own label is by far the best in the marketplace. We have the highest sales of own label relative to our size of all of the major grocers, and people trust it more as a result. And so at Christmas, as we've seen customers trying to cut their budget but still enjoy Christmas, own label is a great way to do that. If you take, for example, champagne or Prosecco, we've seen 15% year-on-year growth. Our own label champagne, typically £15 a bottle, leading brands at, say, around £25 a bottle. It's a great way of saving money without compromising on quality. So own label's been a big part of our success.
Well, I can see the salesman in you right sitting here, but 2012 has been a very bad year economically, and you've managed to make it in this year.
Yeah.
2013?
Well, we think 2013, much the same again. There's no reason to suppose that customer budgets are going to get any easier to balance. The pressures of inflation remain and are likely to remain throughout the year. We're not going to see incomes increase ahead of inflation, so disposable incomes likely will contract still further. So it is more of the same, but given that we've been successful with that as a backdrop, we would expect to continue to succeed.
Can we just look at the question of tax? Now, of course, there's lots of people who are not your direct competitors who are in a lot of trouble over the way in which they manage their tax affairs, Starbucks and the rest. What about corporation tax and the way it's managed in this country?
Well, I should first say that we at Sainsbury's are entirely domestic. We pay our tax in the UK. I think by last count, we were the 12th biggest taxpayer in the UK, so we're proud of our tax-paying record. I'm on the record as saying corporation tax for international corporations is an elective tax. They can choose quite legally to organise their affairs and choose to pay tax pretty much wherever they wish in the world. The government actually has made a big step. They've moved corporation tax down and committed to moving it down still further. It's on a journey to 20%, and that's competitive in world terms. So I think it's now for consumers to ask tough questions of the businesses that they give their custom about where they choose to pay corporation tax. And corporation tax is a way we invest back in the community of which we're part, the country of which we're part. And I think companies that wish to trade here enjoy the benefits of our consumers, the investments in our infrastructure, our safety and so on, should answer for themselves about whether they're contributing properly to our society.
You think the consumer is actually surprisingly powerful in this issue?
Well, I think they are the most powerful. They're more powerful than governments in this. The vote that you make with your wallet will move the decision-making of corporations much quicker than governments will ever be able to do.
But morally, you would argue that internationally incorporated entities obviously can choose where to pay their tax. But if they make a lot of money in this country out of selling products in this country, should they not be paying a very large proportion of that tax here?
They should be paying tax which is commensurate with the money that they make in their country. Of course, the debate that we've seen take place in recent months is businesses saying, in truth, they don't make money. But of course, that depends on how you choose to fund your marketing, how you choose to pay for brand rights, and so on. And of course, I think if companies believe what they're doing is moral, they should be very happy to lay bare what it is they're doing and open it to consumer scrutiny. And we're quite happy to do that about what we do in our business, not just on issues of tax. I mean, corporate responsibility more generally, companies should open themselves up, be prepared to be counted on the things that they stand for. And of course, if they really believe what they're doing is in the interests of their consumers, they shouldn't have any difficulty answering those questions, should they?
Well, the markets continued their recent recovery, with London's FTSE index of 100 leading shares reaching its highest level for more than 4 years. At the close, the index was up by 45 points, a rise of 0.75%.